Okay, hi geographers. So you have read topic 2.1 about the trends in tourism. Okay, so now I'm trying to get you to consolidate what you have read and connect with what you have already learned beforehand. Okay, now the reason why we jump to 2.1 is because it's easier to learn about it if you were to continue from 1.2, which is what we stopped in for WA. Okay, 1.2 was about your the reasons that led to the growth of tourism, right? So now you know the reasons, then we can see what exactly are the growth and trends, the changes in tourism. Okay, so which is why we jump to this first. Okay, so we have learned some points. What I want to do is I'm now summon back what we have learned at the start in 1.1. Okay, we learned that in the tourism system we have generating regions. We have places where the tourists come from, generating region, and then we have destination regions, which is where the tourists go to. Okay, of course, tourists don't go to one destination, they go to multiple destinations, and of course, each destination gets tourists from multiple generating regions as well. All right, and lastly, there's the transit routes in between. Okay, so today what I'm going to do is that I want to get you to connect to 1.1 as well as 1.2 so that you can see the connections and you don't realize that there's nothing much to memorize because it's a matter of understanding. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to pick trends from here and then you are going to tell me where do I classify this. Okay, is this trend happening because of changes to tourism generating region? Or is it happening because of changes to transit? Or is it happening because of changes to tourist destination region? Okay, I will start with page 29, the first page of your reading, and page 30 as well. Okay, so this idea of tourism globalization causing okay, this mentioned over here. Okay, because of globalization, it's easier to search for tourism related products, and it's also easier to search for tourism related products. Okay, so this is the one that we have over here. All right, and also it's mentioned in page 30, globalization also drives demand. Why? Because there's increasing popularity, because it's easier for them to find out about the lesser known experience. Okay, so pause for this video. After this question, please pause for a while and think before you play. Where should I classify this? Is this caused by changes in tourist generating region, transit, or destination region? Okay, pause and think now. Okay, now that you have decided where will you put them, well, personally, Mr. Low will put it here under generating region because it changes the behavior of the tourists. Okay, tourists can find out more, it creates more demand for them to want to travel, and it allows them to travel, find out where to travel as well. All right, so it's more of a something that is caused by changes to the tourist generating region. Okay, next question. Let's go to the next factor. Next factor, Asia Pacific. Sorry, next trend mentioned over here. Europe is still the most popular tourist destination. Okay, Europe is still the most popular tourist destination. Is this because of changes to generating region or destination region? Okay, pause and decide before you continue. Okay, now that you have decided, where will you put them? All right, now some of them will say that, oh, it's due to changes in tourist generating region because people want to travel to Europe for whatever reason. Okay, so it could be a issue with the tourists. That's why it's a tourism generating region issue. All right, now some of you can argue also correctly that it could be due to the fact that Europe has developed themselves as a very good tourist destination, so that is why it remains a popular tourist destination. Okay, so both are valid to put it inside there. All right, let's try the next one. This part over here, there are more tourists coming, developing countries, especially in the Asia Pacific region, have become increasingly popular with the tourists. Where will you put them? Okay, where will you put them? Is it due to changes to TGR or TDR? Pause and decide. Okay, are you done already? All right, so where will you put them? Well, if I were to decide, I would say that actually I will put same thing as Europe, I'll say put them as both over here. Okay, TGR because maybe there's more demand for Asia Pacific or visiting to LDCs. Okay, and then I will not do the changes here. All right, then of course it could be because the countries in the LDCs, especially Asia Pacific, are developing themselves to be more popular, to attract more tourists. Okay, so it could be either way. It could be both. All right, now let's move on to the next one. The next factor. Okay, more tourists are coming from emerging economies. Where will you classify them? Okay, so this one is quite straightforward. It's purely TGR because when the emerging economies, their LDCs that is developing more, like China and Brazil, they're earning more money, more disposable income. That is why they're able to travel. Okay, so that's why there's more tourists traveling. That's why it's a TGR thing. All right. Okay, now let's move on to page 30. Here you have destinations that were not known. Okay, so you realize that they didn't talk about development. They were not known, just that now that it is easier to get to this destination and more people are aware of these destinations. Okay, so where do I put them for this case? All right, for news destinations, where do I put them? Okay. Now, some of you might say, I'll put the tourist generating region. You're correct, okay, because it is how globalization helped tourists find out more about these lesser known places and lesser known experiences. So this created that demand and more people to want to travel to there. Okay, it is not a case of the tourist destination developing themselves like what is over here. So yes, it's more of a TGR thing. Okay, but he also mentioned that how it is inaccessible in the past, and with globalization, transport, it is easy to access them now. So it is also a transit thing as well. Okay, because of improvements in the transit route, that is why more people are traveling to these lesser known locations. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. How about emergence of new experiences? Emergence of new experiences. Where do I classify them? Page 31 to 32. So you learn all these new experiences. Where do I classify them? Okay, so it makes sense to classify them as something that is there because of TGR. Okay, tourists are looking for new experiences. They do not want a typical way. So that's why they are generating more demand for it. But it cannot be put done without the destination doing something about it as well. Okay, they need to market themselves as such to fulfill these experiences for tourists to engage in these experiences. Okay, so for example, all right, if you're to look at New Zealand, okay, New Zealand market themselves as 100% pure New Zealand. Let's look at what are the things that, what are they marketing themselves as? What kind of experience? Okay, so you see that there's a lot more adventure. You don't see culture. You don't see medical tourism. Okay, if you're to look at Thailand, for example, all right, this is the amazing Thailand tourism website. Okay, look at what they're marketing themselves. All right, historical areas. Okay, culture, but not the beautiful beaches or the national parks. So they're actually trying to market people more towards the heritage tourism. Okay, so yes, tourists may demand for new experiences, more of them want new experiences, but it cannot happen without the destination themselves doing something about it, like marketing themselves as it. Okay, now let's look at the next, another factor. Okay, don't mind the sound. All right, let's looking at the supply factors. Okay, so under supply factors, you have mentioned that you have mentions of the tourist destination providing tourist destination. More of them are specialized tours and adding on to specialized operators. So instead of just mass market, you have the specialized and smaller operators as well. Right? So is this something that is caused by changes in TGR, transit, or TDR? Okay, so these operators mostly are the ones that provide the service to get people to travel. All right, so there are more of them are actually at the TDR as well. Okay, and also at the TGR, because some of the agencies operate at the TGR itself. All right. Then lastly, last one, okay, we have this over here. Tourism marketing has changed. All right, where do I put this? Is it a TGR, transit, or TDR thing? Okay, so as many of you have would consider that this is more of a TDR thing. Okay, this is actually page 32. All right, and this factor is actually tied very closely to this factor. Okay, why are destinations going for new forms of marketing? Why aren't they using the old way? Well, very simply because they can reach out to the tourists now who are using such things to book and look for such experiences. Okay, so these two are actually tied together, even though they are put as separate issues. Okay, so your textbook talk about demand factors, demand changes, supply changes, okay, and globalization causing changes. We can actually make sense of it according to our tourism system in 1.1. Okay, now this is not the only way to classify. You can classify other ways as well. All right, now here's the other way of looking at it. Let's link it to 1.2, our reasons for growth in tourism. Okay, so can some of these reasons explain some of these trends that we have already learned? All right, now let's give it a try. Need for relaxation. Okay, it's something that is not causing any of these changes. It just increases tourism. It just increases tourism everywhere. Okay, so let me just change this one to this. Okay, so need for relaxation, and let me just change this. Okay, so need for relaxation and need to achieve personal need for relaxation is something that resulted in global growth in tourism, but not these trends that we have mentioned here. Okay, so you can use it to explain why there's a global growth, but not so much of these specific trends over here. Okay, how about the need to achieve personal growth and fulfillment? Which one can we use to explain? Okay, we can use it to explain why they're looking for new experiences. All right, and also likewise the need to discover unique travel experiences. We can also use it to explain why there's new destinations and new experiences popping up. Okay, ability to travel, increase in disposable income. Which one can we use to explain which trend? All right, we can use it to explain this one. More tourists are coming from emerging economies. Okay, increasing in leisure time, business innovations is the whole. You can use it to explain the growth overall in tourism. Okay, likewise for lower transport costs and lower accommodation costs. So I will not put this to explain individual trends. All right, as for mobility to travel, well, it all goes back to the transit. Okay, we can use that to explain why there's new destinations and they were previously not accessible. Well, because basically there's increase in the mobility in travel. Okay, pages how demand is changing and how globalization is changing. I want you to think about this, which we will discuss in class, and I want you to put a short reflection response at the end of this video. Which one lead to which? Did supply lead to demand changes? Or did demand changes lead to supply changes? Or did globalization lead to both? Or what? What is the relationship between globalization, demand changes, and supply changes? Okay?